Have you ever walked through a store and seen a really cute hat or a cute scarf and thought, I wish I could just make that? Well, what you don't know is if you just have a few simple tools, some yarn, and some needles, you could make yourself a warm and fuzzy piece of clothing just like that. Normally the first thing people think of when they think of knitting is an old person sitting in a chair with a creaky old chair with wrinkly hands, struggling, trying to make a blanket. But I can assure you that knitting is so fun, so simple, and so addicting, and anyone can do it. The whole process, picking out something to make, learning all the proper stitches, and finishing the project is something that everyone, even you, can do. So once you decide to go against your friends' opinions that sports are cool and knitting is nerdy, you need to decide what to make. I would suggest buying a book because most times you can get inspired by all the pictures that are inside. And once you do that, you want to pick a project that's not too challenging for you, and you know if you're a pro knitter and you can make your own clothing line, or if you're just starting. But it's also okay to test your skills and try and move to the next level. So once you learn the basics, you need to have the right supplies. So, you want to pick out your yarn, a color that you want to wear, something that's going to match your new winter coat. And you need to get some needles, preferably. Well, the bigger ones are easier to work with, but you always have to follow the pattern that it gives you. And so now that you know all of the basics and what you need to learn how to actually start to knit. So first things first, you need to learn how to cast on your stitches. So you're going to take your yarn. You're going to take your yarn and make a slip knot, which is something like this, and you're going to cast it or put it onto your needle, and then you're going to make something like the number 4, and then slip the needle in through the number 4 to cast on however many stitches that you want. And then so I'll just do a few for now. And then you're going to need to learn how to do the actual stitches to create a scarf or a hat. Then one of the first stitches that's generally used to make a simple scarf is the knit stitch, also known as the garter stitch. And what you do is you slip the needle in through the back and then wrap your string around the needle, and then you're going to pull it through and loop it across. And that's going to be your first stitch. And then another important stitch in creating a different effect is called the purl stitch, and that is just a complete opposite of the knit stitch. Instead of going behind, you're going to go in front, and then you do the same thing. You still loop the string around, push through, and pull through. And so that is it. And generally all the stitches in knitting are just variations of the knit stitch. So there's also the basket weave stitch or the stockinette stitch, which are just combinations of the purl and knit stitch together. And they're all designed to create different effects for your scarf. So if you want like a little design, or like this one's just plain, so depending on which stitch you do, you're going to get a different effect. But you can't wear something with the needle still attached, so you need to know how to finish it up. How to finish your thing, you're going to need to know how to bind off your stitches. And so you're going to knit the first 2 stitches on your thing here. Okay. And then once you do that, you're going to take the first stitch that you just knitted and just loop it over the second one, and that's what you're going to do for all of them. And it's going to create this like end effect that will keep all of your stitches together. And once you're done with all of that, you can wear your own clothes and get to walk through the streets and feel this feeling of accomplishment that you made something that you get to wear. And there's nothing better than someone asking you where you got such a beautiful scarf, and you can tell them that you made it with your own 2 hands. Alright. Alright, so once you got the basics down, knowing what to make, learning all the stitches, adding the finishing touches, knitting isn't so boring. And next time you have nothing to do and you're extremely bored and you feel like being creative, or you have a long car ride or a college visit, which is actually how I made this scarf right here, you can run to the nearest craft store, pick up some yarn and needles, and start going. And next thing you know, you're going to be saying, Project One Way for Knitters, here I come.